Hey there everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm your resident fantasy therapist and welcome back to my channel. Those of you here for the first time, welcome. My name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm also a writer working on my first novel. And on my channel I like to talk about what I consider to be the heart of writing, and that's the characters. And the heart of the characters is their psychology. So that's the angle I like to take with pretty much everything I talk about on my channel. So today I'm doing a tag. Kelly Damon was kind enough to tag me in her Everything Changes tag. So basically what this tag is you take the characters of your story or your work in progress and you talk about how they have changed as you've been writing. So since my work in progress is still in progress, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I can talk a little bit about this, and I think it's going to be fun, so let's find out. So, first character. I have 6 main characters in my story. First one is named Ani. Ani is the youngest. He's 7. He's probably changed the least, I think. When I first started it, I knew I wanted him to be this creative, interesting, fun, positive character, and he's pretty much maintained that. I think the main thing that has probably changed with him is he's gained a much stronger friendship in Tony, and their relationship has actually become much more important than I initially thought it was going to be. They are actually, their relationship is actually referred to as a sheltering tree relationship by the Natsuba. And that is considered to be a very rare type of friendship because among the Natsuba, they believe your spirit is born in tree form in the goddess of life's life garden. And whatever happens to you is reflected in your tree. So a sheltering tree friendship is essentially another tree that has essentially moved itself to support another tree. So it's usually only done when people get married. So it's kind of that kind of I'm going to support you, protect you kind of relationship, which has actually been a lot of fun to write. All right, next one, Sunna. She's changed more, but I can't talk a lot about what has changed because she's the one who probably changes the most throughout the story. She starts off as a very repressed girl because of her family life. Her family life is not fun, and it is a very repressive lifestyle, particularly for her because she is female. So throughout the story, she is learning more about herself and gaining independence. And I think with her, I started out with her and I really didn't know what I wanted to really do with her. I knew how I wanted her to change, and I knew I wanted her to gain independence, but I still wasn't entirely sure what that was going to look like. Now I kind of know, and so I've gotten a much better grasp on her personality. So this one I can't talk much about because I'll be giving away too much. But suffice to say, when I started writing her, I didn't really have a good grasp on her personality, and now she is probably one of the clearest personalities I can see. So that's fun. Timma. Oh, Timma's so fun. So Timma is probably one of my favorites because he is this sensitive, strategic kid who genuinely cares for people and he wants to help people. I am a big fan of the sensitive, caring male character because I don't see enough of it. So that's what Timma's like. His big change, it actually came more with a change to their government than anything. His mother is queen, and originally I had it so I wasn't sure if he was going to be king after her or not. I ultimately decided to make their lineage so it does pass from mother to son or mother to daughter or whatever. But instead of doing the typical thing where the one for the throne is insecure, isn't real sure, He does have some insecurities about it, but for the most part, his mother's preparing him very, very well, and he's taken to it very, very well. And because he is such a caring person and knows how to listen to people, he's doing very well. Um, because I don't see that a lot. Usually, the heir to the throne is like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. And while Tim is not looking forward to it, I mean, he wants to be a kid for a little longer. He's only a teenager. He's not scared about when it comes, and I liked doing that. Next one, Zava. Zava's another one that personality wise hasn't changed very much. His culture did. When I was first coming up with the Dream culture, it was a very open minded, um, free spirited kind of culture. It is now the most corrupt and repressive, probably, of all my cultures. I'm not sure how that happened actually. I think it was because I really needed some conflict, and I didn't want the conflict to come from family members and family relationships because I like Zava having a good relationship with his family. It's not perfect, but I like it being decent. And the more that I added a little corruption into his society, I came up with more and more ideas that I really liked, and so I just kind of ran with it. So his society changed the most as opposed to his personality. He's still a very questioning, um, sarcastic, and quite frankly, very impulsive character. But he's not stupid. He's very smart actually, and he's actually one of the few linguists I actually have in my story, which I cannot tell you why, but that is important. um, so he's fun to write, and I've really enjoyed seeing how his culture has evolved. And even though his culture is now like one of the most corrupt and horrible cultures in my book, it's there's other cultures that are better. There's cultures that are nice and wonderful, and so you got to have a bad egg in there somewhere, and that's where his culture ended up falling. Let's see, Akiska. This kid is fun to write, and he's he's interesting in that I think he's changed in that he is one of my characters that I am not afraid to make selfish. He starts out a very selfish character. Not necessarily though because he's a bad kid, but more it's influenced by how he was raised and his lifestyle, which I know is going to sound weird because he was raised to be caring and to be, thoughtful and that kind of thing. And genuinely he is. But this is one where in the story you kind of see priorities. And I think that's something that really bugs me when stories have your character always pick not necessarily what would be most important to them, but what society would deem to be a role model's most important priority. Like I brought this up in one of my other videos where I was talking about how a hero is expected to go save the the children in the orphanage over his family. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I create a character that actually does a realistic response to this kind of thing? And that's where Akiska's idea came from. So he's another one that kind of like Sunna, you will see shift and change throughout the story, but I like the angle I've taken with him, so he's been fun. Last one, Nali. Yes, I can pronounce my own characters' names, I promise. Nali. He is my stoneman, and he is another one that has shifted some through the story, but his core personality has kind of remained the same. He's another one that is a sensitive male type character, again, because I don't see enough of them. But he is a little different in that, unlike Timma, who's pretty sure of himself, Nali thinks he is the worst thing on the planet because his mother is trash. I'll admit it. I like writing his mother because she's fun to write, but she's a horrible person. So that has made him fun to do. And again, I kind of one of those characters I can't talk too much about it without giving anything away. So I will say though that his personality, he is my, he's kind of my romantic at heart, in that he wants love and he wants children. And that's always been a part of his personality. But as I've written this story and I've worked more on it and developed the characters more, it became a more prominent part of his personality, like almost to the point of it being an obsession. So that's added some angles in that are fun to play with. So those are the six main characters from my main work in progress. I do have a second one, but I don't think I've been writing that one long enough to really do how things have changed. So maybe I'll do this tag again later for that one. Um, Thank you, Kelly, for tagging me. I have linked her channel in the description below, so make sure you check her out, give her some love. And as always, if you guys like this kind of content, let me know so that I know to keep giving you guys what you like. I always respond to comments. It might take me a little bit, but I will respond to all your comments. If you want to know when I upload each new video, make sure you ring the bell and subscribe so you don't miss any. And I will see you guys in the next video.